Good afternoon to you, our cherished and discerning listeners. It's another blessed and beautiful Wednesday, and we here at Multimedia are excited to bring you yet another great edition of your favorite business development program on radio, Masterclass. Masterclass is powered by Joy Business and brought to us by Goyle. Goyle Good Energy, Goyle Yenara Yedia. Masterclass is also brought to us by Lancaster University. They boast of having the only British university campus in all of West Africa. So definitely, if you're considering some kind of tertiary education, do consider Lancaster University. My name, as always, is Yaw Barnafo, and I'm happy to welcome you to today's edition of Masterclass. We started a certain conversation last week in a series of conversations on leadership. And last week, we spent time talking about emotional intelligence, or should I say leading with emotional intelligence. That was a conversation that should have lasted a number of shows, but unfortunately, we had to put it all in one show. Thanks to Notedua, at the end of the show, you shared some great insights with us. Today, we want to move on and talk about, should I say, an extension of that conversation and look at the personal branding aspect of leadership. So should I say leading, and looking at your personal branding as an input into that leadership conversation. Today, we're joined again in this conversation by Mr. Martin Atafin, who has become known as a friend of the show. He's been here with us for a couple of months. Martin, you're welcome back to the conversation.
Thank you very much, Yao.
I can see you had a great week.
I did.
Indeed.
Yes.
Indeed. I had an extensive conversation after the show with a few friends of mine who also listened to Masterclass. And we're sharing thoughts on the emotional intelligence topic. And that is such a diverse conversation. I think one of the things that you discussed last week, which sort of resonated and stayed with me, was that leaders are a function of their followers, and followers are a function of their leaders.
Absolutely.
So if you think that you are such a great leader, or the people who are following you are not great followers, look at the way you are leading them, and vice versa. In just about 30 seconds. Today we'll have a lot of content for the conversation today, so I want us to go straight into it. But just for those who missed the show, who just want a sort of flow of thought to flow into today's conversation, 30 seconds. Just a quick recap of what we discussed last week.
Great. Yes. Yeah. So what you're talking about was the fact that leaders and followers co-create each other.
Exactly.
So when you're leading your team, you need to make sure that you appreciate and understand them. So the topic on emotional intelligence looked at how you are aware of your own emotional standing, and how you are aware of your team's emotional standing as well. And then from that perspective, what are you going to do to continue to build that relationship? Because leading is about your technical ability and then your relationship ability. And that orientation, we said, was maybe 30 to 70%, because the relationship ability is how you're going to inspire and move the team to deliver on the task that you want.
And as you talk about the balance, I remember the conversation there was not to taper necessarily to one side extensively, but to achieve the balance where you use the relationship to get the work done. Absolutely. So it was not necessarily you being a weak leader or not having the ability to punish wrong, but having the balance. And as we talk about balance, an analogy comes to mind, and tell me if it's such a great analogy. Back in the day when we used to drive manual vehicles, not today that they have automatic vehicles. If you were climbing a hill, you would need to do what we refer to as the half clutch, isn't it?
Yes.
Would that be a perfect example of a balance between having a great relationship and getting the job done, i.e. emotional intelligence?
Absolutely. You see, because the half clutch, if you remember, you need to be able to gauge the exact level which will make the car stop.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it goes back.
Or it goes too fast.
Yeah, it goes too fast.
Or it goes off.
Absolutely. So that balance is necessary. Because what we are saying is, look, the technical ability is a given. That is why you're a leader. That is why you're there. So you need to use that, but you need to use the relationship to get others to get the work done. What are you going to do? Are you going to coach them? Are you going to inspire them? Are you going to just order them? Are you going to instruct them? Those are the things that you need to pull out of your hat at the time that is required.
And as a leader, I remember we said finally that as a leader, let's begin to move away from technical competencies, because those are a given, like you said.
Absolutely.
Back, I think in January or December, there was a show here and we talked about the roles or the job classes that are going to be here in the future. And no one is looking at functional areas anymore. Before you get to the interview, we know you're a finance manager. I'm not going to bring a makeup artist to a finance manager's interview. Now we're looking at the soft skills. We're looking at your ability to manage the things you can't touch, the intangibles. So if you're listening to us this afternoon, you're a manager of some sort, you own your company, you're a GM, you're a chief operating officer. let's move beyond the technical competency. We know you have great skills in cyber and IT. We know you can code. We know you can speak. We know you can anchor a program. That's why you are there. Now, beyond that technical competency, how do you manage a team to achieve the same result?
Absolutely.
Some people are great when you give them the job to do alone. When you give them a team and say, get the team to do the same thing, it becomes
Then there's
another
a challenge.
thing.
And those are the people who end up doing all the work themselves.
And they say, they're not helping me. They're letting me do all the work.
Absolutely.
Let's move on to today's conversation. Today, we're looking at personal leadership brand, the personal leadership brand. And I couldn't help, I always like to go and find out what other people have said about the conversation. So I went around and I asked a few questions. You remember Bruce Lee?
Yes, I remember Bruce Lee.
The actor.
The actor.
Yes.
Chinese,
I think he's the Chinese actor, Chinese-American martial artist. He had some interesting things to say about personal brand. He says, absorb what is useful.
Mm-hmm.
Reject what is useless.
Mm-hmm.
But add what is specifically your own.
Add what is specifically your, and that's the part that I love best, because what differentiates you, what is unique about you, because what is useful, fine, but then everyone is doing it. What you reject is no good anyway. But then what about you?
And that's why people remember certain leaders. You can talk about all the good things they did. I had an extensive conversation in my office with someone about Nelson Mandela and let's say Patrice Lumumba or any of the other freedom fighters, and why Nelson did so well, and even Thabo Mbeki.
Yes.
Why between the two of them? You can talk about all the politics, but was there something about their personalities that distinguished each of them? We're not going to go into that because I know we'll not finish this conversation. But Zig Ziglar also is an American author.
Yes.
He also had this to say, and he says, if people like you, they will listen to you. Mm-hmm. But if they trust you, they will do business with you.
That's true.
So then trust becomes a personal trait.
Yes.
Which becomes part of your personal branding. Can people trust you when they say that Andy Dusty, my good friend, is going to be here at 5? Is he going to be there at 5?
Absolutely.
Or is he going to be there at 5:02? Andy, good afternoon.
And that's very true, because that sits in what we are going to speak about. A brand echoes reliability. There are certain names, when you hear it, you know this person is reliable, this car is reliable, this business is reliable. Apart from that, it also echoes passion. It ignites passion. It's so reliable. I love them so much. But sometimes the passion goes overboard, even if they are not reliable. That's why we still have Arsenal supporters.
I like that one. Oh, I wish I was behind the console. I said they should play. They should play a 16 for me. Okay, so I'll share this joke later. It's about 2 car companies. But you're right. It's about trusting the brand. Absolutely. And people will go for the brand once you go past a certain level of trust with them. It doesn't matter whatever else you do after that.
Yes.
You lock it in. And therefore, a personal signature, if you like, is key in creating your personal brand.
Absolutely.
And the better it is, the better it is for you.
Yes. And when you lock it in, it goes a long way. Even if you are not performing, they still trust that you will come back.
I.e. Arsenal.
I didn't say that.
Gary and is still going to beat me. Let's go straight to today's content. And I know we have a lot of information. Okay. For those who have just joined us, this is Masterclass here on your Superstation. We're going to be streaming live on Facebook as well. So for those who like to take notes, please follow us on Facebook, and we'll share the slides on Facebook. At some point, we will get interactive. Let's go straight to the content for today.
Excellent. You see, whatever we've talked about from the beginning up to this time, everything is culminating up until today. Because at the end of the day, the kind of leader you are is your brand. Mm-hmm. So you have to have an identity, and there are certain attributes that will be associated with you. Your vision will stand out, your values will speak, and then the trust relationship will then all put together, make you the leader that you are. So let's talk about branding. I'll ask a few questions. Why is it that when you put water and sugar together, you add a little fits and you try to sell it, you probably get less than 1 cedi for it. But when you stamp Coca-Cola on it, you may just be able to sell it for more than 15 cedis in certain places.
True.
Again, take any tattered cloth. These days you see people who wear a ripped cloth, put it together, so some old design, some bars, etc. You may be able to sell it for 30 Ghana. But when you stamp Levi's and Strauss on it, you can sell it for
Value goes through the roof.
Value goes through the roof. So you should be asking yourself why. Okay, let me go a little further. Take any footballer from any corner of the world and try to sell him at the football market. Without knowing whether the person can play or not, you probably will get maybe 1,000 cedis, $1,000 for it. But as soon as you stamp Cristiano Ronaldo on him, you can sell him for $120 million.
Those amounts are huge.
Those amounts are huge. I mean, Ronaldo earns around £450,000 per week.
I stopped thinking about those amounts because sometimes I wonder, maybe Gary will come and help me understand how they spend that kind of money. I know 40% of that goes to tax anyway. I know they pay their managers, they pay their others.
Exactly.
But they also get money back in merchandise.
Yes, there's so much that they get out of it. I mean, I don't know. If they decide to spend maybe 1,000 a day, it will still not get finished ever. Anyway, so just to go on, I mean, even just take a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some hotels, I would say, even have the audacity to be able to sell jollof rice for 550 cedis. 5-star fufu for 2,000 cedis, Kofi Brookman for over 300.
I've seen those adverts on Instagram.
You see those adverts on Instagram.
Gary Soakings can be packaged
exactly
and called cassava shavings on scheme something. They have some funny names for it.
You know, but you see, why would they even have that audacity? It's because of brands. You know, so we can mention different brands. I mean, Samsung, Mercedes-Benz. Some people will not drink any coffee unless it's Starbucks. Mm-hmm. You know, Google, Amazon, BMW, Apple.
Some people don't even know there are other search engines other than Google.
Absolutely, yeah.
They don't know that.
They don't know
it's
that.
Only Google.
Everything is Google. I mean, they'll say Google it. It now becomes a verb. Mm-hmm. You know, Google it. You know, so there are some brands that, I mean, when you mention it, you just know these are powerful. They are authentic. They are consistent. They are visible, and then they also are valuable.
Would you then add the last one and say they are distinct?
And there's distinction, a market distinction for each and every one of them, and that's true. And I'm saying that the same applies to the personal branding, that individuals can also be powerful, authentic, consistent, visible, valuable, and distinct.
Like Ronaldo.
Like Ronaldo.
Like Nelson Mandela.
and like you and I.
Like
because,
you and I.
Yes, because everyone, you know, can follow the process and be like that. Mm. So how do you get there is what we'll be talking about. So we want to ask ourselves, what is a brand? Why is branding important? And does branding mean anything to you and I? You see, your brand is your promise. And your reputation. You gave an example of Andy Dusty coming at 5:02. Mm-hmm. In fact, at that point, you might say it's not him, because Andy will be here on time, because that's the promise. When you hear the name,
if he's not there at 5, then something has happened.
Then
to
something must have happened.
But there's some people, if they're not there at 5:30, we still won't go and look for them.
That's their brand. You know. So your brand is your promise. It's a contract with every customer, and that is what Richard Branson said. A contract with every customer with whom you're dealing, and if people feel that the offering does not live up to what they expect, they'll stop buying. So that is the brand, and that is why we have all stopped buying Black Stars, because we know what we have too many times. So you see, if you have a brand and you don't live up to expectation, you break the hearts of people, and that is where the emotional connection is. So where did all of these things start? Branding. You know, way back in time, branding was, you know, people who are selling cattle, livestock, and in order to distinguish theirs from others, they have to market. And in order to market, they will put a hot iron in fire, and then burn a mark on them with their logo. And if you continue to go into that market and you identify a particular one that you like, the meat is sweet, the cattle look fresh all the time, it is that brand. You always look out for that mark on that cattle. Mm-hmm. And that is how it all started. The word branding started off. Mm-hmm. And like I said, you can shift it even to the personal leadership brand, where the mental real estate you hold in other people's minds is your brand. The people will think about you, and what they remember is your brand. So you are identified by your passions, your values, your talents, and what you do. So what you are and what you believe will come out visibly by your actions. So Jeff Bezos said that your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room.
When you are not in the room.
Yes. So if you're not in the room and they say, this gentleman is always late, then that means that you are already signing on to that brand. Okay. So,
I'm laughing because I've actually heard people say, and I see it in my mind's eye, when you are not in the room.
yes.
It's little wonder, or I think it's deliberate, that God didn't allow us to be able to read people's minds. Because I can say from my experience, and I stand to be corrected, when we get interactive, I'd like to hear what you think, that most of the time, what people say about you when you are in the room, it's not what they say about you when you are.
It's not necessarily what they say when you're not in the room. And so sometimes when they are saying it, they'll say, it's not because you're here. But
it's exactly because you're here.
That's it. But if you build that brand seriously, you'll be able, as a leader, you'll be able to attract different kinds of opportunities. Because I know that if I'm going to do this thing and I call Yaw to come and help me lead it, it is pretty much delivered. So you get opportunities, you increase your earning potential if you manage to build your brand properly. You create a top of mind status. If somebody wants to think of who can be able to facilitate a session, the first thing they think of is Yaw. The first person they think of is Yaw.
Would that be synonymous to, for example, the law firms, where they have these names and the names stand for certain things? So these are lawyers who are into, let's say, criminal investigations. So these are lawyers who are into land cases. These are lawyers and they have a record of winning.
Exactly.
So, once a document comes from this law firm,
you know that.
Then you know that it's...
Yes. So you get into trouble and you're looking for...
and say, then you know that.
Then you know who to look for.
Right.
Exactly. So in fact, you've hit it. Because it provides you even the right kind of recognition and positions you, you're talking about lawyers, as an industry leader in any area. But what it is not is that it does not cover up incompetence. Because if I trust you and you break my heart twice, you're done. It does not work if it is a lie. So you can create the brand and say all sorts of things on social media, on air and things like that, and people come to you and they don't get what they want. You're done. They won't come back. And then also it does not work instantaneously, meaning that it takes time to build a brand. You can't say you are a superstar and the next day you're actually a superstar. That's magic. That's not branding. Okay. So at that point, you have a greater control of your destiny if you're a leader, because that position gives you much better control. But then it comes with increased responsibility. It comes with increased competition. So to be able to get ahead, you have to manage the impressions that are on people's minds. And a strong brand will help you to differentiate yourself, distinguish yourselves from others, and maximize your career potential or your leadership potential. So like we said, a brand arouses emotion, it ignites passion, it echoes reliability, and brands have meaning, so to speak. So Tom Peters had said that in today's world, you are actually distinct or you are extinct. You survive, thrive, or triumph by enhancing your brand. Otherwise, you just become extinct. So, in order to develop yourself develop your leadership brand, I beg your pardon, you need to consider 6 P's: passion, purpose, play, planning, people, and perseverance.
And what do each of these stand for?
Good. I'll just go into them right now. I mean, with regards to passion, a great brand taps into emotions. So you yourself have to be even passionate about what you're doing, and your passion will be able to carry other people along. Warren Benny said, every effective leader I've known is passionate about what he or she is doing. The time and energy devoted to work demand a commitment and conviction bordering on love. If you ever watch Cristiano Ronaldo training, then you will know what passion is about. And you know that all the goals he scores does not come because he woke up this morning and played. The guy trains. He trains so hard. So all the money he's making is because he has worked hard previously. That's his passion. Passion for what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about passion, let me just strip this. And I read something from Usain Bolt recently, and it was inspiring people never to give up. And this is what he had written. He said, I trained 4 years to run 9 seconds.
Can you imagine?
You've been working for 6 months and you want to give up. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
I just wanted to chip that.
He trained for 4 years, So, I mean, he's a champion. I said, a champion isn't made out of muscle. A champion is made of heart. So for you to be a champion...
Please say that again slowly.
A champion isn't made of muscle. A champion is made of heart. Because it is your love and passion for what you are doing that will keep you going, even when your muscle is tired, even when you want to give up.
And that, for me, speaks to originality in our businesses as entrepreneurs, as people who own our businesses. Let's stop copying people. Person A is selling shoes and is working, so I'm also going to sell shoes. Person B is into cloth and is working, I'm going to sell cloth. The thing that he has which you don't have is the fact that his vision is original to him.
Exactly.
And along with that vision comes passion. And that is what would let him keep coming back, regardless of the number of times he fails. So if you want to copy somebody, copy their passion too.
Copy their passion.
The idea.
Look, the midnight oil that he's
Yes.
burning, burn it as well. So we're saying that a champion gets up even when he can't. So it's because of what is laid on your heart. So you are your own brand. So you have to be the champion of your own brand. So you have to keep going and keep going. And apart from that, we are just talking about enthusiasm. You have to be enthusiastic about what you're doing. Your enthusiasm can carry others along. Your enthusiasm can make people see that, look, this person is working so hard on this, there must be something right about it. That leads us to the next P, which is purpose. Because Gary Hanel says that you need to create a cause, not a business. You have to see the business you're doing as a cause, not just all about money. I'll give you an example. A known brand in Ghana, SM, is a movement, is a cause, and it has people following that brand. The money is on the side, but the money comes only because of the cause.
But you're right. I mean, if you ask a few people who are in SM today, apart from those who are in the center, if you ask them what drives them, it's more passion than anything else.
Absolutely.
It's more passion to a brand with which they identify.
Yes.
And therefore, they sort of mimic it and resonate it in their own actions at their own level,
At their own
in
level.
their own little pockets.
And the owner of the brand himself is so passionate about
Of course.
it.
Of course. Good afternoon to you, Shatta, if you're listening. We're using you as an example here today on Masterclass.
Exactly. I mean, he's created a brand. I mean, Gandhi says, be the change you wish the world
To see.
in the world.
Exactly.
So it's up to you. You have to create that and make that change. But like to the point that you mentioned earlier on, never, ever, ever be scared to fail. If the purpose is in your heart, you would not be scared to. If you fail, you can start again. Edward De Bono said, it is better to have enough ideas for some of them to be wrong than to always be right, having no ideas at all. So have the ideas, try them. When this one fails, try the next one. There are too many examples of people who have failed but eventually succeeded.
Abraham Lincoln is one of them.
Abraham Lincoln is one of them. Yeah. Okay. And then also passion, purpose. The next one is play. Michael Schrage, he said, you can't be a serious innovator unless and until you are ready, willing, and able to seriously play. Serious play is not an oxymoron. is the essence of innovation. So, I mean, relax. Yes, you are top leader, but you need to be able to relax and help your mind to relax. And if you don't play, you can't innovate.
So play
That's the
here is
idea.
synonymous to taking a rest, taking a break.
Play here is synonymous to taking a break and enjoying life.
Don't take yourself too seriously.
Don't take yourself too seriously.
Listen to music.
Yeah, listen to music.
Watch the sunrise.
Take a drive somewhere. Logan Smith says that there are two things to aim in life. First is to get what you want, and after that, to enjoy it. Only the wisest of mankind achieve the second. So you can get all that you want, but if you don't take care, you might not get the opportunity to enjoy it. So even whilst you're at it, enjoy life. You'll be amazed. Sometimes when you take a break over the weekend, you come back to work on Monday, you'll be on so much fire, you'll be wondering where did all that energy come from, because you have taken a break.
I think it's a very valuable advice. Business owners, entrepreneurs who are listening to us, once a while, take a break. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything expensive. We're not saying travel out of the country or travel anywhere. Just take a walk. Or wake up early, just sit out and watch the sunrise.
Watch the sunrise, sit on your
stroll.
balcony.
Do something different other than what you've been doing.
Drink some orange juice.
Yeah.
Okay, but then also yesterday I saw in a friend of mine's status, a family friend. He was 64 yesterday, and he put on his status.
Congratulations to him.
He put on his status, I'm not 64, I'm 18 with 46 years of experience. And that was amazing for me. I was like,
That's profound.
That is thinking young. That is thinking young. I mean, if you think young, you stay young. So it's important to, if you say play, look at it from all those angles.
Yeah.
But the next thing is indeed planning. And hopefully next we will talk about developing your leadership development plan. Even to create your leadership brand, you need to plan. Michael Dell, he said that it is easy to decide what you are going to do. The hard thing is to decide what you are not going to do. So if you don't sit down to think through it, you might get it wrong. And when you think through it and if you want to be distinct, take the path less traveled. Just as you mentioned earlier on, I mean, there are too many of us who do the same thing that somebody else is doing. What are you going to do that is distinct? Just relax, think through it, identify the innovative ideas and try it. And when you try it, keep going. Again, whilst you're at it, you need to continue to educate yourself. I like this bit that says education is not the filling of a pail, it is the lighting of a fire. So some people just educate, add degrees upon degrees, but what are you using it for? It's supposed to light a certain fire in your belly so that you can use it to do all the amazing things that other people are doing.
Hunger to learn more.
And hunger to learn more and to do more. Because when you learn it, then it says, okay, I've learned what can I use it for? And you can see how you can apply education across in so many areas. And whilst you're doing that, you need to aim high. Michelangelo says the greatest danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss it, but that it is too low and we reach it. So you reach it and there's nothing more to go. Aim high. I believe that if all of us take that advice and start going for the topmost things that you can ever do, it will change so many things that we do. Because, I mean, we can't be mediocre. You need to aim high. Try to aim for excellence. And to aim for excellence, you need to persevere. Perseverance is very critical. Muhammad Ali said, I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit, suffer now, and live the rest of your life as a champion. And he did. So he
said this to himself consistently, especially when he felt like giving up.
Giving up, yes. There's a song that occurs to me every time, even me, when I feel like giving up, I sing the song to myself. Because when I heard it first, I was like, this is, I sing it for you. He says, I get knocked down, I get up again. You're never going to keep me down. I don't know if you heard that before, but he's just saying that I get knocked down, I get up again. You're never going to keep me down. So you always have to get up and keep going.
Hold that thought for me. We just want to get interactive. And then while we wait for the phone lines to ring, we'll continue to share that content. But if you just tuned in, this is Masterclass here on your Superstation. We want to take a quick message from our sponsors. When we come back, we get interactive.
Your favorite on-air business development program, Joy Business Masterclass, is in session, and you can interact with us on Facebook via the Joy 99.7 FM or Joy Business pages. If you tweet, the handle is at Joy 997 FM or at Joy Business GH. Don't forget to hashtag JB Masterclass. You can also call us on 0302 216541 or send your questions and contributions through to the WhatsApp number 0551 111997, and our facilitators will address your concerns. Attention everyone, class is in progress.
Welcome back. If you've just tuned in, this is Masterclass here on your Superstation, and I'm here in the studio with Martin Atafin. We continue our conversation on leadership. Today we're looking at building your personal brand or leading with your personal brand. What are some of the inputs that go into a personal brand, and how does that affect your entire leadership agenda? Phone lines are now open. We want to get your thoughts. Last week we spent some time talking about emotional intelligence. We got a great response during this period. Today we've moved on quite a bit, and we're looking at your personal brand. What are the things that make up a person's personal brand, and how do those things affect the entire leadership conversation? I want to hear what you have to think. You're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you're a CEO of some company, and you have a real experience. We want to hear your experience so that we can learn from it. You know, life is too short to make all the mistakes ourselves. So let's learn from each other's experiences. Numbers to call 0302 216 541. That's 0302 216 541. You can also pick up the phone and give us a call on 055 1111 997, or send us a WhatsApp to the same number 055 1111 997. Let's hear your thoughts. Just to also remind you that Masterclass today is brought to us by Goyle. Goyle, good energy. Goyle, you want to buy some fuel today, make sure that you drive to the nearest Goyle station and fill your tank. You also want to consider some tertiary education. Lancaster University is definitely the option for you. Numbers to call again, 0302 216 541. And if you want to send us a message, you can do that on 055 1111 997. This is from Gorgeous Adole from Teshi. Gorgeous Adole, good afternoon to you. He says, hello, thank you, Mr. Barnafo. It's very important. Ghanaians have become used to copying people's businesses. But like you said, there's a passion with what one does that you might not have. So let us all learn to follow our own passion. And this one is from Gorgeous Adole in Teshi. Adole, thank you so much for reaching out to us. She's reiterating that point there.
Exactly.
But let's hear your thoughts. Your personal brand, what distinguishes you? Two people may have different brands. No two people will have the same personal brand. But what is it about your personal brand that has helped your business? So let's hear your story, and others can probably learn and become better for it. By all means, pick up that phone, give us a call, 0302 216 541, or send us your comments on 055 1111 Let's continue to share those thoughts. I mean, I like what Michelangelo said. It says that the real danger is not that we aim too high and we don't reach it, but that we aim too low
and we reach it. Yes.
You know, I was quiet when you said that, because somehow people are programmed when targets are set, and it becomes a do or die affair.
Yes.
But the greatest danger is not missing your target, or it's when you set it too low and you reach it. And when you reach it, what next?
What next?
And there's a whole conversation on how we are raising our children today, not to be fighters, to achieve excellence. But we are giving things like participation certificates and things like that. I mean, you complete class 3 and they give you go for graduation. It's a whole conversation. I'm not going to go there, but that's the point that we're trying to make. Let people, understand that there's a fight to be fought, and life doesn't cut you slack.
Absolutely.
Life doesn't cut you slack. You got to do it. You got to do it.
Exactly. And if you're a leader and then you're not aiming high, then you create some complacency, some mediocrity among your team. And somebody else who wants to fight better will decide to leave the team because I'll go somewhere where I can get something more exciting.
Exactly.
Yeah. How many times haven't you been on an interview panel and somebody says, I'm coming here because I need something more exciting.
More challenging.
More challenging. Yeah.
This is a question I wanted to ask while we're waiting for my listeners to call in. Does perception play a role in personal branding? I say that because we say leaders create their followers and followers create their leaders. So that if I think that Key Soap, for example, is a good brand, it's a good brand. It doesn't matter what you say. If I think Arsenal is a good team, it's a good team. It doesn't matter what you say. What is the role of perception in the personal brand conversation?
So the personal brand conversation is such that...
I think I have a caller on the line. Let me take that quickly.
Okay.
And then you can answer that. Good afternoon. You're welcome to Masterclass. Your name, where you're calling from?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much. My name is James Adombiria. I'm calling from Upper East.
Right. Faith, talk to me.
I have one quick question. At a certain point in time, we encourage people that don't give up. You can do it. But here is the case. Many interaction with people, you see a lot of young people with great and brilliant ideas. This is where
Oh, my apologies, Faith. We lost you there, but we really want to hear what you had to say. If you can just give us another call back, we would very much like to hear what you had to say. 03022165441, or you can send us a comment. If you're not able to call, send us a WhatsApp on 05511119997. That was Faith there, but we lost him. He's probably going to try and get back in touch with us. So, Martin,
yes,
you were answering the question there, the role of perception in the personal branding conversation.
Yes, I mean, one thing I can even say, look, image also enhances function. So if you're good at what you do, you look the part, you dress the part, it builds on the brand. It makes people believe in that brand. So the perception is essential, but when you deliver and you disappoint, it also deflates everything. So people also may perceive that because I've heard Martin's name so many times, when he comes, he can deliver. So now you have to live that part.
You see, I asked a question about perception because it's a wide thing. It's a wide conversation. Even in our national elections, sometimes you hear people say,
Exactly.
You know, people make decisions based on different persuasions, but that's their perception of whatever situation they're dealing with.
Absolutely.
So as someone who is being perceived, and I'm asking this question because I think that I have an answer I want you to look at. What should the one being perceived do? And my answer is that they should be consistent.
Consistency is essential.
And I don't know whether that's a correct answer.
Yeah, it is a correct answer, you see, because that's what I'm saying. If you disappoint once, twice.
I think my caller is back on the line. Good afternoon. You're welcome back on the line. Your name, where you're calling from, sir?
My apologies. My line dropped along the line.
Right. Faith, you're back with me.
Yeah. I was asking a question earlier. We live in a society where people are growing up with great ideas. Now they look for people to partner to see how the idea they have, they can develop it and make it big. I'm just going to give you one example of a friend I had some time ago who came out with a business plan. We all look at it. I said, okay, now we do not have the money to start whatever he wants to. Let's discuss the business with someone who has been in it before. We have done that. The person looked at the idea we have, rather stole the idea from us. Now decided that there was no way he was going to help. At this point, we keep on encouraging people, oh, don't give up. You can make it. At a certain point in time, the frustration becomes too much.
Yeah.
We use those who complete the universities as the example. They complete the schools with great and brilliant ideas. Within 1 year, 2 years, if there's nowhere for them to turn, that is where the idea they have developed over years begin to disappear. And within the shortest possible time, if nothing is being done, then their hope becomes hopeless. So how do we build and trust the people that are around us, maybe has been in the business before some time, that we can have that confidence that if I share the idea I have with you, there shouldn't be that fear and panic that at the end of the day, you turn around to take the advantage of the idea I have, and then I go home with nothing.
It's a brilliant question. I think this one, Martin, I'll help you to answer it. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Faith, it's difficult. Nobody said it would be easy. So I know someone who finished university, and within 2 years, he had not gotten a job. I know someone who finished university at the same time. The first person didn't get a job because they were trying, and I think they were trying at about 50% of their ability, and they thought they were doing 100%. The other person walked around the city of Accra. In 2 weeks, he had distributed 200 letters. Every time he went, they said, oh, they will call you back. Suffice it to say, he got a job finally. He distributed 500 letters. This was his experience. He didn't give up. He kept going back to the same places. He kept going to different places. He finally got a job. Suffice it to say, today he's working in one of the top institutions in this country, and he's running his own business. Faith, it won't be easy. Not everybody will get a job. Some people get frustrated, and out of the frustration, they set up their own businesses, and they become success stories. There are a lot of those success stories around us today. In fact, that's one of the things that COVID did. A lot of people began to do their own things, and today the stories are there to tell. Go to Instagram. People are doing their own things, and they are all over. So it's difficult, but let's just keep trying. Those who steal from us, they are not good people, but we won't stop living because they are not good people.
Yeah.
We will keep trying, and at some point, we will also make it. And then we come back, and hopefully, when somebody comes to us for help, we will not repeat the evil that was done to us. Martin, maybe you just want to...
No, I just want to underline what you're saying with what Confucius said. He says, our greatest glory consists not in never failing, but in rising every time we fall. So when you fall, rise and keep going. You will get there. And that is when you have a story. Otherwise, you'll not have a story. If everything was kosher, you'll not have a story.
Yeah. So be encouraged, my brother. Be encouraged.
So it's part of the perseverance.
Yes.
It's part of the perseverance. But that is why we are having this discussion. Because your friend distributed 500 letters. You see, nothing has ever been done in isolation. They say individual competitiveness is what you know multiplied by who you know. So, whatever you know, you should actually have lots of relationships. And those relationships are the ones who are going to take you there. So if you depend on one person, you are going to just get one result. So you have to multiply it. He multiplied what he knew by 500 people. He probably got one response, but it was the best for him.
Exactly. And we're talking about consistency also in building your personal brand. This is a friend of mine, very good friend, Kweku. Kweku, good afternoon to you. He says that when we're growing up, he says, if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. I mean, it was a joke at the time. But his point was that be known for something.
Exactly.
You can't be all things to all men.
All men.
Be known for something. When we mention Martin, what does Martin stand for?
Exactly.
And you be consistent in what you want to do and what you want to be known for. And others will line up.
Yeah.
There are some who will like you, some will not like you. You don't have to get everyone to like you.
Yes.
But it's important that in building your personal brand, you're consistent so that you're known for one thing.
Exactly.
Or a number of things. Let me ask this question also. I have a few more minutes to take another phone call. If 0302216541, my producer is smiling. You can also send us your comments on 05511111997. But Martin, let me just ask this question as we sort of round up our conversation today. We talked about culture earlier on in Masterclass,
Yes.
I think last year.
Okay.
And we said that culture is the way a group of people live. So there can be good culture and bad culture. It doesn't matter whether you are going left or you are going right. At every point in time, you are creating something, whether good or bad, even without doing anything. Is that the same for branding? I say that because you live and you are known for something. So you are either known for something or you are known for a number of things, which is right or left. Is this true of personal branding?
Whichever way you live, whichever way you lead, you are creating a brand. So what we are saying is be deliberate at creating that brand. And intentional at creating that brand. Otherwise, well, you'll be known for the man who can't deliver. Is that what you want to be known for? So at some point you need to test your brand. You need to test your brand. I mean, at some point Jesus Christ asked, "Who do men say I am?" And he asked, "Who do you say I am?" And the response will let you know whether your brand has managed to pre-sell you or
you have to do a lot
more work.
Let's sort of bring our conversation home today. If we remember nothing from the conversation today on personal branding or leading with your personal brand, what should we take away from the conversation today?
Okay, so...
And then as you do that, just sort of tell us what we're looking forward to next week as well.
Okay. So, I mean, maybe I'll give you just a few nuggets. You should know that whilst you're branding yourself, it's not really about you. It's about the people you're leading. So you have to have them in mind. And we are saying that never stop learning. Never stop learning. as you keep going, you need to continue to build your brand. Have fun whilst you are building a brand. That's why we say you can also play. Life is too short, and there is no substitute for hard work. You have to keep learning. And what we have said is that even if you fail, keep going, and there has to be purpose. Know why you are working. Know why you are building the brand. And maybe the last bit I can add to this is, look, whilst you are building the brand, remember integrity is everything. It's your most precious commodity in building your brand.
Next week, what do we look forward to?
Next week, we will look at developing your leadership, personal leadership plan, because we are saying that be deliberate at developing your brand, be deliberate at leading. How can you develop a plan which will help you to groom yourself to where you want to get to?
Thank you so much. This has been Masterclass here on your Superstation Joy 99.7. Next week, God willing, we come your way with another exciting edition. My name, as always, is Yaw Barnafo. Up next, we continue.